Hello everyone, welcome. My name is MJ Pestridge and welcome to P3D video. In fact, a whole new series. I'm going to start doing almost not really tutorials, but sort of basically show you what I've set up in P3D version 5.1 and how to get it looking yourself. Right now we're sitting in P3D1 and we're actually sitting in the default weather scheme in the weather profile. It's just fair weather, and we're here in Italy at Florence airport, and as you can see, True Sky is active, and you can see these squares above us in the True Sky clouds. It's okay, but also on the horizon you can see all these little flickery, almost transparent at some points, but very distracting. I don't know, like some sort of barcode reading, or it's very weird. Flickery on the trees. It's everywhere. I'm sure a lot of people have got this in their sim at the moment and are super frustrated. We have got True Sky enabled. In fact, we're actually going to go for a quick flight here, get this bird to the air, and see what True Sky looks like from the sky. Because, guys, it doesn't have to be this way. You can even see as we climb up to our altitude, there is slight also cloud jaggies on the plane itself. So here we are at 15,000 feet, and looking down below, again you can sort of see this repetitive line pattern in the True Sky clouds. So it is very distracting, it is super weird, and for the most part just looks very weird. So now what we're going to do, and as you can see on my cockpit here, it's also very weird. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to do the exact same flight, but I'm going to do the weather the way I do the weather, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Okay, so we're back in the sim. I've loaded up Active Sky. It's set to custom weather active, but there isn't any custom weather active, and the cloud art in the settings is set to sky colors and cirrus only. Everything else is unticked, and those are the settings that I use with Active Sky. So in REX, as you can see, it's now creating the weather. In REX it's a different story. So the REX is the weather engine fully, and if we go into install, everything is ticked except for the sky colors, which is these sky textures here. But just a quick flash through of what my settings are. Feel free to pause the screen, and you can insert these as you wish. And that's pretty much it. And then of course I have my own default profile which we install. Believe you only need to do this the once, and then it will be in. But as you can see now, and obviously in the world tab you also make sure it says REX. But as you can see, there is no weirdness on the mountains or anything like that. There's no jaggy weird things happening. In fact, let's get up into the sky and let's see what it looks like from the air as well. Now, climbing up through the clouds themselves, for me, I do believe like the way that I've got my weather configured using the settings that I've just shown, like I believe it produces a more naturalistic sky when we get up to the altitude. You'll see what I mean. Now, looking down below, you don't get any of that weird boxiness textures that are there. That's all been eliminated. For me, looking out to the horizon looks a lot more naturalistic and much better. There's less pixelation in the clouds. Overall, I feel I can't fly the plane. Overall, it just, for me, looks more naturalistic. Now, you also get a layer above that I have noticed since REX is introduced. This layer of mist above as well, which we're going to try and climb above. Now, the one thing I do notice as well is when you're injecting the weather from REX into the sim. So if we were to go to view more and refresh the weather, when it starts refreshing the current weather conditions, obviously you'll see a drastic change. Obviously you're not going to see it now because we've already injected the weather, but if you put it back to default weather and then activated the REX, and when you get that green bar to say it started and finished, I've noticed that the frames do stutter for a while it's happening. There's no way around that. Obviously this isn't an official version 5 product from REX. It's totally, this has been put into the sim by me. This isn't them, this isn't a beta version of SkyForce either. This is just, the version 4 version in version 5. So the injecting the weather, I've noticed stutters, as you can see when moving the camera and that, but I just keep the camera still when it's injecting, and when it's finished the stutters go. But just for me visually, I just think it looks more realistic to the real world than the default True Sky, or even just Active Sky's True Sky. Now if you happen to actually activate the live weather, then this will all completely change, and also you have to activate the weather profile within here as well. So, but it's pretty cool when it changes back, and I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to change it active now to Active Sky. So we click live weather, we change the profile in weather to Active Sky. For some reason changing it back in the menu doesn't actually work till you remove the tops down. So that's the True Sky being changed back to Active Sky. I don't know why, it's a bit weird, but so this is Active Sky now manipulating the weather, and if we refresh the weather, then that's what Active Sky is giving us. If this is accurate weather or not, we just go to Active Sky weather request, current active weather, and it says here few and clouds scattered between 1700 and 5200 feet. I don't even see hardly any clouds, to be honest. I don't think this is actually reporting accurate weather. But if we go to REX weather briefing, and we get our weather briefing.
Weather briefing for Thursday, the 12th of November, 2020 at 14 UTC. Current weather for Airport, Lima, India, Romeo, Quebec. Temperature, 16 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Dew point, 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds, 360 at 2 knots. Visibility, 30 statute miles. Altimeter, 1023 millibars, 30.21 inches. Sky, broken at 2,500 feet. Broken at 7,000 feet.
So, even though Active Sky and REX actually are saying the same weather, Active Sky unfortunately isn't giving us that weather. With Active Sky weather theme, it actually doesn't do it. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, choosing REX weather sync, clicking OK, deactivating the weather for REX, for Active Sky, and clicking refresh, and then clicking refresh with Active Sky, with REX SkyForce, sorry. And refresh the weather. Yep, oh, it's still doing it. So REX is still injecting its weather. Which to me, again, more realistic None of that weird, boxy, liney repetitiveness. And neither do you get that above it either. Oops. You don't get the cockpit, or the you know, the weathering around, the weirdness around the cockpit. With REX, you don't get those lines down below going in between the clouds. It's very, very strange, that is, but it's not there with when you have the REX profile on. The weather for me looks more realistic, and you don't get that weirdness either above either. In fact, you get this massive haze cloud above, which is very strange. We're at 25,000 feet, to be fair, so we're still trying to actually climb to it. But for me, using REX is so much better. It's not officially available for P3D version 5 or 5.1, but that will be coming within at least 2 weeks of this video. It's being tested in beta right now, but to be honest, even if it didn't work, I'd be happy using this from version 4. Now, the only way to install this REX SkyForce is by, if you already have it installed on your system, all you have to do is go to your general tab and make sure that this is browsed to version 5 instead of version 4. It still will say version 4 somewhere. It'll still say version 4. When you go to view more, it still says active simulator version 4, but it's actually injecting into version 5, as we saw here. And if you see it here and you see it in your menu here, then you know it's working. If you don't have it installed, okay, and you need to install it, and you do own the version 4 copy, it's a trickier way to do it, and I'll show you how. Let me just steady this. What you have to do, it's a lot trickier. You have to go to your command prompt, type in reg, and open the registry editor as admin. And when this comes up, what you want to do is go to the pathway for current user, scroll down to software, then you'll get another drop list, and go all the way down until you reach Lockheed Martin. There it is, Lockheed Martin. And where it says P3D version 4, you'll say app path. Double click that and change that 4 to a 5, or whatever the path you have your simulator set to. Click OK, and then exit out of that. Restart your PC and install SkyForce REX. And when it installs SkyForce REX, it doesn't install to your simulator. It installs to your C drive by default, I believe, in program files. SkyForce, right? But the actual simulator itself, like plugin or however it connects to your actual sim, will go into version 5 instead of version 4, and you will get skies that are more photoreal like this, as long as your HDR settings are correct. If you're running a HDR monitor like me, then there are 3 settings you need to choose correctly. One is in chase plane. Go to preferences, camera, and then enable HDR override. I don't balance the brightness when changing bloom. I leave that unticked, and these are my settings for my bloom that I prefer work with me. I'll show you the menu in P3D, but in your CFG file, P3D CFG file, which you can find by going to users, your PC name, app data, roaming, and down in Lockheed Martin, the prepared version 5, CFG. Under graphics, you'll see a HDR. Make sure that's set to 1. If you don't have a HDR TV, you need to change that to 0, okay? Because you can't do it in the menu system. If you don't have a HDR TV, untick the HDR override. And in the P3D menu as well, under lighting, these are my bloom settings. And if you have a HDR TV, obviously that will be ticked. If you don't have a HDR TV, you'll put 0 in the config and that will be unticked, but True Sky can still be active. See the weather starting again from Rex. I have it set to every 20 minutes, so every 20 minutes it will refresh. You might see some weird thing happen. You might see stutters, but then it'll settle and it'll be fine. I use this on every flight, and my skies, man, I love them. Truly love them. As soon as it's finished injecting the weather and the green bar says complete, your frames return to normal. And that's it. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Next video, I'm going to show you how to install 5.1 properly. There's 2 ways to do it depending on what kind of setup you have. I'm also going to be doing future videos on various things as well. If there's something you want to particularly know about, please let me know in the comments of this video and I'll make a video all about it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. So basically, there is a bit of an issue in 5.1. If you untick a certain box, you will get white water at night. Now, me myself, I don't actually tick any boxes for reflections because they're massive performance killer. I've always used 5.0 and even 4.5 without any reflections. And in 5.0, I kind of saw reflections anyway because a lot of the planes would have reflections built into them. So, but moving into 5.1, it's become an issue if you have your simulator set up with no reflections on whatsoever. You'll actually have a white water at night. The only way to get around that is basically you want to go to world and just tick user vehicle reflections. This tick box here is directly responsible for the white water. And there you go. The water is no longer white. It is completely fixed and you can resume using everything again. And that is it. Just that one little fix. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Make that bell ring to get all my videos. I've got loads more coming up to do with 5.1 and the usability of it. A lot of people have been having issues. It works fine for me. It's just my PC that's the potato. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you again.